About what happened here in St. Paul today. Peace. How's everybody doing? Hit the Cash App, $ BLMMN. Very important that you do that. We're going to beef things up. We have to beef things up for 2021. We sparked off the George Floyd rebellion, really didn't ask for anything. But now there's white supremacists marching through the community, and it's going to be really important that BLM Minnesota get out here and address some of the things that are happening. So, peace, Faith Walker, Miss Parker, good to see you. Excited about the work that you're going to be doing soon. We need sisters like you, sisters like Mr. Toya Woodland, sisters like Daphne Brown, Darnella Wade, Monique Dottie, Valerie Castile, Delshia Perry. This is a very serious time right now for our community. So earlier, man, my nephew was calling me and he's like, man, yo, the Proud Boys are marching up Selby right now. The Proud Boys are marching up Selby Avenue. So if a lot of you don't know, the Proud Boys are Trump supporters. And some people, say that they might be white supremacists. So you may be thinking like, well, how can some white supremacists march through the black community? Well, our community, especially on Selby Avenue, for one, has been gentrified. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it means like a black community is actually being stripped economically of its housing, or black people get moved out of the community that they live in and are replaced by white people or people from the suburbs. And this is happening in St. Paul. It's happening downtown Minneapolis. It's happening on the east side. It's happening on the north side slowly. So the Proud Boys came through the hood. My nephew hit me up like, yo, man, the Proud Boys are marching down Selby. Then they went up to the governor's mansion like they were last week. So he said he rolled up and he was fully prepared. He said when he got there, they knew he was prepared, but they told him, hey, man, get out. We're feeding the community. So these are some, and I don't want to say white supremacists, but I know they lean towards white supremacy. They lean towards white supremacy. But they marched through Selby, went to the governor's mansion. My nephew rolled up on them, asked them what's going down. They said, man, we're here. We don't got beef with y'all. We're here to feed the community. You should get out. Now, I just want to say this, and nobody stopped them. Nobody stopped them from marching up Selby because nobody could. Why? Because we're divided in the black community right now. Why? Because we have record level of gun violence in the black community right now. Because we're killing each other right now while white supremacists are walking down streets that we claim belong to us. So sometimes we say whose streets? Our streets, right? And I know a lot of my brothers who they haven't been to the protest, so they haven't chanted that. But man, we're out here fighting and dying for street names or sides that we claim belong to us when a white supremacist group, or you could say I'll see some people be like, I'm canceling Ice Cube, right? I'm canceling 50 Cent. But at the same time, I'm gonna let the Proud Boys walk through the hood. Very strange. And then the Proud Boys is like, we're gonna feed y'all. Come on out and kick it with us. We got food and everything, man. You can come out here and kick it. So that's just, but I think it's also, last week they verbally assaulted Muslims on Summit. Yes, I seen that. I was there. And they pushed the little brother. But the little brother said he was from Antifa. And I don't know if he was or if he wasn't, but it was just like, man, it was just really strange. And then they was really close to each other. The Proud Boys didn't have a mask on. The brother who said he was from Antifa had a mask on. They was in each other's face. And then even to come up to that rally with about 4 people, and they're like 300 deep with guns. It just wasn't really, I didn't think that was a good way to respond to that. So also, I just think as the movement as a whole, I think we got away from what this movement was started on off. George Floyd was murdered by a white supremacist. As our protesting started going on during the year, we got away from that. We started marching about all type of different things, you know? And when we do that, I think it just allowed room for what just for the Proud Boys to march up Selby today. So it's not just the so-called black on black violence that allowed the Proud Boys to walk through the hood, or what I like to call self-hate crimes, because we're quick to kill each other. But when it's time to stand up to white supremacy, we sit back and we record. Oh, they're marching up Selby, the Proud Boys. Cause look, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop that, man. We got to be able to. If I could shoot at the homeboy outside the bar, then I got to have something else, man, to stand up to white supremacy and institutional racism when they're marching through my hood. And even me, I didn't know that they was like, man, we're called. I didn't even know that was going on. So we all need to be more aware about our surroundings and what's happening in our neighborhood, about the time, the day we're living in, about COVID-19, about we're under quarantine. So we're under like an emergency. There's a curfew. You got to be in by 10 o'clock right now. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. So those are some other things that we should be prepared for. We should also start making sure that we have enough food, water, and certain things that can get us through the winter to survive. These next couple months are about to be serious on the Black community. So let's just make sure that we're prepared for that. Also, seems like there's a lot of buyer's remorse going on with the presidential election. A lot of people are like, wow, Joe Biden's thinking about choosing Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel covered up the murder of Laquan McDonald in Chicago, right? So I don't think the people, us who want police accountability, want to see somebody like Rahm Emanuel in the White House after he covered up the murder of Laquan McDonald when he was mayor of Chicago, right? So these are things that we're going to have to keep an eye on, man. And I just want us to really stay focused. Or other organizations, I know it's good to get out here and march for this and march for that, but then sometimes we'll be like, I'm going to march for something that might get us in some trouble that has nothing to do with George Floyd, or has nothing to do with Marcus Golden, or has nothing to do with police brutality and accountability. And then we end up in certain situations, and then we can't respond when white supremacy is in our community. So right now we got to use our resources wisely, and we got to pick our battles and make sure that we stand up to actual white supremacy and institutional racism that is intruding on our community. But I can't say that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I don't know what the Proud Boys were doing today, but I just know that people were calling me and they felt very uncomfortable about what was happening in their community. So there's that. And I just want to come to you about that, chop it up, and make sure that we start getting prepared for what's about to happen as Joe Biden gets ready to get sworn in, and make sure that we stay focused on getting justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and the people who have been victims of police brutality, and don't let the terrorism that happened to them not be accounted for. So we'll be tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. for the Trahern Crew show. We're going to launch an official video from my man Darius. We're going to have other people on talking about issues, a little bit of the presidential race. We'll be talking about the George Floyd case. some of the new developments that are happening in that. And we'll be talking about demanding full and complete reparations on day one of Joe Biden's presidency in Washington, D.C. on January 20th. I'd like to thank y'all all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow right here on the Trahern Crew Show, 8 p.m. sharp. All right? Peace.